Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Beyond Serial, and this is going to be a short video letting you guys know what you need to know to be able to fly the helicopter or the jet in the ArmA 2 mod DayZ. Now this is not a guide letting you guys know how to fix either the helicopter or the jet. This is just a guide teaching you the basics and letting you guys know what controls you need to know to be able to fly the helicopter or the jet. Now, I am by a long stretch not the best pilot ever. During the entire video here, I had a friend in TeamSpeak explaining to me how to fly, what buttons to push, when to push it, if I should tilt a bit more, a bit less. So this is not just me right here. Anyway, so let's get started. Now I'm going to start off flying the helicopter. Now to get the whole engine running, the rotor started and everything, you have to press Q. Now Q is the button you need to fly. You need it with the jet later also. So let's get started. So first I'm going to go onto the map, pick a place where I want to go. We want to go to Electrodos and pick up a friend. So you have to find a good spot to land, a good LZ. We picked behind the fire station because it's a big flat zone, hopefully easy enough to land. So I marked it on my map, got back here. Now I had Q, I pressed it so the engine was running. Now to lift off, you have to hold Q. Q, it lifts you higher and higher and higher and higher. Now if you're new to this, you should fly probably a bit higher, like 200, 300, 400 meters in the air. Now I didn't do that, I stopped at 100, which is probably, it worked out this time, but it probably wasn't the best. Now to start flying, you want to turn off hovering, auto hover. You roll your mouse and you can see on the side comes the auto hover. Now at the moment I think I have the auto hovering on in the video, that's why I'm having such problems moving. Now if you wait 1 second, I'm going to roll my mouse and you can see onto the left of the screen there's going to be auto hover. There it is, auto hover. I'm going to turn it off. Now turning off the auto hover allows you to move. Now I'm using my mouse, and I just move my mouse a little bit backwards or forwards. In this case, forwards it tilts my helicopter a bit forwards, backwards tilts my helicopter a bit backwards, and if the helicopter tilts forwards, of course you move forwards, but you also move down. That's why you cannot constantly keep it tilted, and you cannot go extremely and tilt it like extremely. If you push your mouse completely through, your helicopter is going to flip over to the front, which will cause you to crash and most likely die. That's why you just barely touch your mouse. It will level itself out again. That's why you have to keep on slowly touching it, slowly moving it. Now in some cases, you can also tap the W button. It also moves you forward and lets you lean a bit forward. Now do not hold it, because that will also flip you over. Just like if you're moving your mouse to one side, so left or right, only slow, only a little bit, otherwise you will completely flip. You will do pretty much a barrel roll and then fall to the ground. That's why just slow, easy movements, and you can see it's not the fastest. I'm at the moment with a speed of 150. I mean, it's alright. The jet, it flies 500 to 600. This is 150. It's not the fastest, faster than any car, but it's alright. I mean, now I'm at 180 already. That's because I'm tilting a bit more. My altitude is about 170, 160 meters in the air. That's alright. It's high enough for me at the moment, because it's not the first time I've been flying in the video. So I have flown before. That's why I'm not that high. If it's your first time, go as high as you want. 400 or 500 meters. Because if you screw up, you have a huge margin of failure, a big failure tolerance, that you can still level the whole thing out, not completely crash yet. That's why I'm at 130 now, because I'm not really paying attention. I'm kind of drifting off to the side because I didn't want to move my mouse too much and flip. So now I'm kind of leaning over. I pushed my mouse a little bit to the right, so I lean. Now I'm going back a little bit forward to speed up again, and I notice, oh, altitude, I'm only at 90, so I'm even under 100. So I stop moving my mouse, hit Q, so I get a bit higher. I'm at 150 now, and then I decide, okay, now we can go faster, and that's where I almost crashed. I pushed my mouse too far forward, and we tanked really far. We went down to, I think, 70 altitude, 70 yards. So I stopped and leveled the whole thing out, was holding Q down, so we raised higher and higher and higher, so that we're above the trees. Now, this hill came out of nowhere. Well, it wasn't, not really out of nowhere, it just came. So our altitude sank a lot. We were by 50. So I was just trying to press Q, get higher and higher, while not completely losing our speed. So I was pushing my mouse really slowly forward, so we're barely leaning forward, while also gaining on height. Now, as you can see, Electro, where we wanted to land, is not even well, it's about 1.5 kilometers away. So I started to get slow. I just wanted to slow down a little bit, and then I start to drift off because I'm moving my mouse now way too much. So I kind of tried to chill with my mouse. I almost flipped the entire aircraft right there because I'm moving my mouse way too much. It slanks over to the one side, and I pull my mouse to the other side, and it slanks over to the other side, and it completely screws up. So I just tried to stop moving my mouse, hoped it leveled itself out. It did. pull my mouse back a bit so we slow down, and now what you have to do is turn on the auto hover. See, so I turn it back on so that we are automatically hovering, and then you press your Z or your W button. It depends if you have an American keyboard or a European keyboard. Let's test it out. It's the button to the bottom left, so next to your shift. Or at least it's by me, it's that. So then we started sinking. We started going down, nice and level, nice and slow, and then I started to get scared. I'm not sure if we're gonna make it with our tail because it's been so far out there. So this is where the problem happens. So move your mouse just slightly. Now see, we're so low, we're at 30 yards, and I thought, oh, I can maneuver past here. So I turn off auto hovering, I move a bit forward, and then I said, oh crap, no, too far. So I wanted to go back a bit, and then my mouse just I just jerked my mouse around for no reason, trying to level the whole thing out. Looks like it's working pretty good, but then I tilt the aircraft way too much. It goes way past it. I pull my mouse back, pulling the whole aircraft back. Not good at all. Starting to level it out again. I'm trying to get calmer, trying to level the whole thing out. Then the aircraft completely spins around. I freak out, jerk on my mouse, causing the whole aircraft now to tank forwards and pretty much crash. I pull my mouse back as fast as I can, and then instead of putting auto hover on, as you saw to the left, I turned off the engine, which was such a fail. I turned off the engine instead of putting on the auto hover, which caused us to crash. Unfortunately, luckily it didn't kill us completely since we're so low, so slow. But now I'm gonna get into another aircraft we found. We got really lucky. We found this, I think, 2 weeks later. Now my friend, he's gonna drive it because he has way more experience flying, and he's a lot better. He was the one trying to teach me how to fly, and I completely screwed up. I completely destroyed our helicopter. So at the moment, they're having a few problems getting in, so I'm gonna get right out of this helicopter, let them get in, and I'm gonna get in again. So he's gonna show you how the optimal way is. He's gonna lift up with his press Q, start the engine, lift up, and slowly, with just easy motions, gonna tilt forward, tilt to the side. Now, as you can see, the top right, the fuel is pretty full. That's one thing you do have to pay attention to. If the fuel goes down and it's empty, of course you're gonna crash. Now, you can see the other stuff like the engine, the hull, stuff like that, the rotors, stuff like that. So, just like by every kind of vehicle, you can see how much life or how much health the vehicle still has. So now we get up. So we're steadily going up. And since he's a lot better at flying, he only needs to go up to 80. Tilts really extreme forward, but it's alright. Now we're 30, and that's when it happens. Since it's dark out, I'm the only one with night vision. We're only flying 30. He hit its chimney. He hit the highest building in the entire electro area, causing us to die. So that's probably one reason why, no matter where you're flying, always try to fly high. At least 100. So he thought he was pretty good, which he is a pretty good flyer. Just 30, I guess, was too low, causing us to crash against the chimney and killing us. See right down there, we're 3 people. One of us died already in the crash. I'm trying to crawl away so that the explosion of the helicopter doesn't kill me, but I got away. I'm not sure if our other friend died, but there you can see the chimney that we crashed into, which was pretty low. Okay, so now I'm going to go over and try to teach you guys how to fly a jet. So we got really lucky and found an A-10. This is, I'm not sure how rare it is, but it has to be more rare than a helicopter because this was the first time we ever found it in an aircraft. Now, or at least I have. He knew somehow how to fly it, so he was trying to teach me. Now, to get in, you have to be on the left side, which I didn't know that, so I failed, went over to the right side. Now, you can, of course, just like every other vehicle, put gear into it. So I just thought it was interesting. Looked, nothing was in it by default. But go on the left side, you can jump in as a pilot. An aircraft that can only carry 1 person, which kind of sucks. You can't fly in it with 2 people, but oh well. So now you get into the aircraft. Now to start the engine, it's just like by the helicopter, the Q button. That's your flying button pretty much. You have to hold it so that the engine gets warm and pushes you forwards, and you automatically drive forwards. Okay, so I'm pressing the Q button now. Engine's gonna start, and then we're gonna start. Once the engine's readied up, we're gonna start driving forwards. Now, to lift off, I wasn't sure, should I pull my mouse down or pull it up? How does the whole action work? And he's trying to explain pull up, but then at the same time don't pull down, and it kind of got me confused. So we're flying. I know the airstrip's halfway point's about by the firehouse. So we passed the halfway point. Now I'm freaking out. Oh no, I can't lift up. Trying to move my mouse, trying to lift up. It's not working. The whole plane's wiggling around. I was scared. I didn't want to turn somehow and go off the track. So I'm trying to level out the aircraft, trying to lift up. It starts bouncing a bit. Now to lift off, pull your mouse up, which he said, pull your mouse up. So I pulled it up, then my mouse just tanked. It went completely down automatically, and I did not know how to flip it back up. So there it was. I lifted up and died. That was my first flight ever. He was pretty mad at me, but that was alright. Now, a couple weeks later, we did find another aircraft, which was awesome. And so I had another go at it. So I knew right away, don't go on the right side. So I checked the gear again because I wanted to see if there's anything in there by default, which of course there isn't. So you go over to the left side, get in as the pilot. Now this time it works a lot better. So I can actually explain the whole motion, the whole movement, everything when flying a plane. So I get in, press the Q, get the engine running. Once engine's fast enough, or on, actually running, I start the plane. He gets on his bike just for fun, and we go. So I start getting faster, I get faster. I know that the halfway point of the runway is by the firehouse, so we're driving. I know we're about by the halfway, and since I now know how to lift off, I tried lifting off by the halfway point already, which it works. I lift off, everything's cool and steady. He said keep your mouse steady, so I was leaning off a bit to the side, hoping that it levels out. It did level out a bit. My mouse was automatically also going down, but I wanted to get higher because I knew I was not good enough, so I wanted to get higher. So I tried to get higher. Looking down the bottom, there's this big forest fire going on, which is pretty cool. Now, a plane, it can do a barrel roll, it can do all kinds of cool things, but you have to be really careful. You can fly upside down. I screw up. I tilt the plane thinking, no, how do I tilt it back? Completely trying to tilt it back. Do not even pay attention to my mouse. My mouse goes down. I do a couple barrel rolls and crash into the forest. So it's pretty much just like flying the helicopter. Slow, steady movements. Trying just not to completely freak out. You have to pay attention to so many things. Plane has to stay leveled. You can level it out with the A, with the D, with W, with S, buttons like that. And your mouse, that kind of keeps you also in the air. Like, you have to make sure your mouse is always a bit higher, so you're constantly either going up or going down. Now we did get lucky. About a month later, we found another plane, and this time I let my friend fly it because he has so much, well, I don't want to say more experience, but he just knows how to fly it. So I'm in this police cop car that we also found I think a week ago. So I decided, oh, you know what, I'm gonna follow you. So we start driving together. Now the police car does have a better acceleration at the beginning, but of course the plane's faster. It just needs to lift off. So I'm just trying to take around, trying to hang on, but of course it doesn't work. So he goes, steadily lifts up his mouse, allowing his aircraft to steadily go up into the air, as you can see right now. So he goes up in the air, he's airborne, all is good. Now, since he's so much better at this than I am, he just decides to, let's do some barrel rolls. I thought he was going to crash because I thought he was messing around, but here goes barrel roll, just showing you guys what you can do once you have the skill to be able to fly a plane. He's up to fly. This is nothing like Battlefield or anything like this. Or I talked to a couple of friends of mine that likes to play like these flight sims. They say it's nothing like playing a flight sim. It's completely different. Not sure if it's not realistic or however you want to call it, but not as hardcore or whatever. But it's sure it's tough and it's really unique the way you have to fly it. With the Q, honestly, with the shift to fly faster, stay up into the air so you don't go too slow and fall down. And then with the mouse, constantly having to pay attention, the mouse is not tanking down to the bottom of the screen so you crash, stuff like that. Now, landing's the hard part, because you have to be so lucky pretty much to land or have so much skill. You have to come in extremely leveled onto the railway. You have to touch down pretty much where the runway begins so that you don't somehow go too far and then roll over into the grass and then flip over into the trees or whatnot. But look at that, you can even shoot, you can even throw bombs, and he bombed pretty much the firehouse. What the hell? So you can see, you can throw bombs, you can pretty much annihilate people. If you find a squad somewhere like in Cherno, go in Cherno, just bomb the whole thing. But it is definitely not easy to fly, not in a helicopter and especially not in a jet. But I hope this guide did help you guys somehow. Maybe for the first time, at least you know the basics. At least you know how to lift off. You know that you should stay steady. You know, don't jerk around on the mouse or whatever. So if you liked this video and if it did help you, please do like, subscribe, and hey, even leave a comment. It helps immensely. My name is Beyond Serial, and I will see you next time.